Chapter 15, Saving a King. King Arthur catches Excalibur just in time. He thrusts the sword upward to block Big Rob's blow. Then he keeps on swinging. Within seconds, the huge man's sword is torn from his grip. The king holds up Excalibur in one hand and grabs onto Big Rob's wrist with the other. King Arthur has won. The crowd cheers. Chase and Ava shout along with everyone else. They did it. Ava pulls her camera out from under her collar. Click. She tucks it away again before anyone can see. Then she says, I had hoped that once the sword was fixed, we'd be sent home. Me too, Chase admits. He pauses. Do you hear a humming sound? Yes, I thought I heard something, Ava says. But with all the cheering going on, I couldn't tell for sure. I think it's coming from in there. Ava points to the suitcase. They hurry away from the crowd, then open it. The humming gets louder. The remote control is buzzing and the red button is lit up. Ava reaches for the remote, but wait, a voice shouts. Chase and Ava look up. The man from the flea market is coming right toward them. But he is not alone. King Arthur and Merlin lead the way, while two of the king's guard hold the man's arms. Give me my suitcase, the man shouts at Chase and Ava as the group arrives. You are not in a position to make demands, the king booms. For the last time, tell me your name. The man shakes his head. The king steps closer. Then the man mumbles, Randall. Well, Randall, I hope you enjoy your stay in our dungeon, the king says. Don't worry, Merlin adds. You'll have 2 greedy knights and Big Rob to keep you company. Not for long, Randall says under his breath. The king puts his hands on Chase's and Ava's shoulders. Thank you both for your bravery today. Merlin and I shall never forget it. What can I give you for your kindness? We can't take anything where we're going, Chase says. Sure we can, Ava replies. No, we can't, Chase insists. Then he whispers to his sister, look what happened the last time someone took something out of the timeline. The humming remote begins to jump towards Ava's hand. She lifts it up. The red button is now pulsing. She and Chase grab for each other. Then she presses the button. The ground instantly begins to spin. Goodbye, Merlin. Goodbye, King Arthur, they shout. Thanks for the dress, Ava adds, pulling it off and tossing it behind her. Medieval Great Britain disappears into a swirl of sky and earth. The last thing they hear is a furious voice shouting, I'll find you, time jumpers. That suitcase is mine. Chapter 16, Home Sweet Home. When the spinning stops, Chase sees people walking toward the playground with bags from the flea market, and the sun is still bright in the sky. Even though they were at the castle all day, it's still late afternoon here. They haven't even missed dinner. That really happened? Ava whispers. We went back in time? The remote in her hand has gone silent and dark once again. She locks it in the suitcase. And now we're back, Chase shouts. He wants to dance and sing. Instead, he leans over and hugs his sister, something he hasn't done since she lost her part in the 2nd grade play. If I had to get stuck back in time with anyone, I'm glad it was you. Ava blushes. Yeah, me too. She looks over at the suitcase. What do you think that guy Randall meant when he called us time jumpers? No idea, Chase says. We'll have to find Madeline at the flea market next weekend. We need to know how Randall found us. I have a feeling she knows more than she let on. As they bike home, Chase says, maybe we shouldn't tell anyone about all this until we understand more about it. Even Mom and Dad, we don't want to worry them. Ava hesitates and says, agreed. They hear their parents in the kitchen. We're home, they shout, and then run upstairs. Chase slides the suitcase under his bed. Then he pulls out his favorite notebook. He needs to write down every detail about medieval Great Britain. A few minutes later, Ava comes in and hands him the picture frame she bought at the flea market. To remember our adventure. She'd printed out the photo of King Arthur and slid it into the frame. Thanks, he says, admiring the picture of the real live King Arthur. Amazing. Chase places it on his night table so it will be the first thing he sees every morning. I was thinking about something, he tells Ava. I don't think that was a cell phone that Randall was using at the flea market earlier. I think he has a remote control like ours. Ava's eyes widen. You must be right. Our remote knew it was time to send us home as soon as the dragon hilt was back where it belonged. Randall must have been checking his matching remote at the flea market to see if anything inside the suitcase had been returned. Exactly, Chase says. Let's make sure we never leave our remote behind. Ava looks at her brother in surprise. You mean we're going back in time again? I don't think we have a choice, he says. There are a lot more things in that suitcase. Maybe they all need to go somewhere. We're time jumpers, right? Ava grins. Right. From under the bed, the suitcase begins to rattle. This is the author's note. Wendy Mass has written several award-winning series for young readers, including the Willow Falls series, Twice Upon a Time, Space Taxi, and The Candy Makers. She recently learned that you can travel back in time every night just by looking up at the sky. The light from stars takes so long to reach us that any star you see is in the past. How cool is that? Wendy and her family live in a rural part of New Jersey. They have 2 cats and a dog, all of whom she calls her son's name by mistake. Oriol Vidal is an illustrator and storyboard artist who lives in Barcelona, Spain, with his wife, daughter, and a cat named Lana. He always wanted to be a painter when he grew up. Finally, his hobby became his job. Time Jumpers is the first early chapter book series he has illustrated. When Oriol is not drawing, he likes to travel with his family all over the world. And in his dreams, he time travels to the past, just like the Time Jumpers. Time Jumpers questions and activities. Stealing the sword. Who gives Chase and Ava the suitcase? What does this woman have in common with Chase? Number 2, Chase knows a lot about time travel. What does he mean when he says, we could mess up the timeline? Turn back to page 41. Number 3, Chase and Ava spot Randall at the flea market and at the castle. How does Randall travel through time? Why do you think he wants the suitcase? Number 4, King Arthur's famous sword is called Excalibur. Chase recalls the story of the sword on page 47. Using books and the internet, research more about the legend of King Arthur. Write and draw pictures to share what you learn. Number 5, Chase and Ava travel back in time to medieval Great Britain. What are some ways life in the medieval times was different from life today? Would you want to live back then? Why or why not?